Okay, Volume 8. See, Volume 8 of the Bible story. And we are at Part 3, Story 11. But before I read the story, we have a painting by Herbert Rudin. It's a full pager. And it actually says full about what the story is about. You can see what's it about. Well, if you know the story, you probably did. But this is the illustration here. Okay. And the caption reads, "The Pharisee liked to appear very pious, but making long prayers in public places. But Jesus loved the humble publican, or tax collector, publican more, who cried, 'God, have mercy on me, a sinner.'" And part 3, story 11, is praying and forgiving. Praying and giving. That's what it means. Okay? Jesus always looked for new stories with great always looking for new stories with great lessons. And more often than not, he found them in the lives of people he had met and mixed with day by day. Once, while in the temple, he saw two men at prayer, one a Pharisee and the other a publican, or a tax collector. I think I told you. Sometimes to jump ahead of myself. Okay? The Pharisee was standing where everybody could see him and hear him, and the other man far in the rear. In a loud voice, the Pharisee was telling God about himself. "God," he cried, "I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in a week. I give tithes of all that I possess." Then the publican, his hand striking his breast, his head bowed in sorrow of heart, his voice so low it could scarcely be heard, said this brief and humble prayer: "Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner." When Jesus told the story to his disciples some time later, he added, "I tell you, this man," meaning the publican, "went down to his house justified rather than the other." The Pharisees The Pharisee was merely trying to advertise his own good deeds, and God doesn't listen to prayers like that. But when someone whispers, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner," every word is heard in heaven. If you want to get through to God sometime, don't tell him how good you are or how many kind deeds you have done. Just tell him how much you need his help. Another time, when Jesus was in the temple, he saw something very beautiful happen. Sorry. Something that had been blessing to millions ever since. While sitting quietly near the treasury, watching the people put in their gifts of money, many people came by and gave large sums. Then a poor widow walked slowly up to a box and put in 2 coins worth less than a penny. "Look," Jesus said to his disciples, who were not far away. "See that poor widow over there? She have she had just given more than all the rest had put together, for they gave out of their abundance, but she, in her poverty, have given everything she had, all her living. Yeah, and then me doing my little thing, I since they like to put back in the old days they would put pennies on or coins on your face when you pass. Um, this is just my thought that the 2 coins that she dropped in there were used to put on Jesus' eyes. That's just me. Okay, don't hold me to credit, but that's just my idea. Okay, let me get back to the story. That was just something I pitched out there. Okay, the widow did not know Jesus was watching her, but he was, and he knew by the look of her on her face and the prayer on her lips that her gift was from her heart and that it was everything she had. I like to think that she was rewarded that very day, that angels were sent to supply all her needs. But whatever happened to her, I know that when Jesus said she gave more than all the rest, it was true, not only that day, but has been true ever since. The in real value as God values gifts, her 2 coins, her 2 small coins or mite were worth far, far more than all the gold and the silver dropped carelessly into the box by the rich people ahead of her. And I used to have a widow's mite. It is smaller than a fingernail. I used to have one, um, but I lost it. And it was in a container and it had everything, and I lost it. Or my mom probably got it, but I know I had one. I think I ordered it, my widow's mite, and that was back in the 90s, I think, when I ordered it. I was just trying to, uh, have something. And I think the box broke. The box I had it in broke, and that's how I lost it. But I got the Roman coin. I got it later on. Okay, let's get back to the story. And when all the money ever given to God is finally added up, it may well be found that the poor widow offering will top the list. When the windows is shown, when the widow is shown the total, I'm sure she will exclaim, there must be a mistake. I never gave that. But Jesus will say to her, oh, but you did. All this was given because of what you gave. How true. For 900 years and more, the story of the widow's sacrifice has been told and told again. It has gone around the world and echoed down the centuries. More times than anyone could ever count, it has touched hearts and opened purses and made people give their best and, and uttermost for the master. Of course, it wasn't the amount of the gift that really mattered, but the spirit in which the widow gave it. Her heart must have been God's already before she gave her mite. The 2 little coins were but a final proof that all that she had was his. That is the way we should give. That is the way we should give to God from the heart. And with it, indeed, it is only kind of giving. It's the only kind of giving that will be of much help in extending His kingdom of love. And then it has a family in church, um, giving offering. A dad and his daughter giving offering as the usher goes and picks it up. And you're never supposed to make change. When the offering plate goes through, you're not supposed to make change. I've actually, people joke about it, and people have done it, but it's not, no, you're not supposed to do that. Give out of your heart like you're supposed to. Okay, that was part 3, story 11, and that was the end of part 3. So, we're going to break, and then we got a little bit to go before I start on the next book. But I'll break, and I'll see you back in a little while.